attended last year, they pretty much already know a lot of things that we will kind of go through. But this year is going to be just a little different. And the difference is that we will focus on performing because we do have a poetry contest at the end, not just here, but it's throughout the city. And it is from Bessemer all the way through Birmingham, and I'm certain that there will be more people involved, no doubt. The prize is $1,000 in 2 categories, 7 to 12 and 13 to 18. The topic is global warming, my future. That is the topic that you will write on. If you desire to participate in the poetry contest, I will share with you about performing. Hopefully that you might even learn how to collaborate with others. It could be somebody from your church, it could be your friend, it could be a mind team, somebody who might help you express what you're trying to put over, all the way to dressing the part of what you wrote, and even having them dress the part. Oftentimes we think that in poetic expression that performance is about the whole thing. It is about not only the writer, but what you want the audience to interpret from what you've written. And so sometimes you can stand up and you can speak very well, but there's nothing like adding more things to it to really capture the imagination of the audience. And that helps prepare you. Of course, as always, I never tell you what to write, but this is the first time that we are really trying or given a topic. And so that is going to require you to do some research on global warming. And everything is important. For you all who have not participated, the people who have participated will certainly share with you the things that I share with you are important, and it has an end result that is beneficial, whether you actually pay attention or not. But I'll share with you Caleb and Amara when they went on the radio, and so the things that we worked on prior to that, the people around them responded in a way, and that it was very positive from the people who called on the radio station, complimented them on how they articulated and spoke well, and that their poems were believable. It reminded them of certain things, and not only that, but even their relatives spoke highly of how they felt that they were impacted. So certainly, the things that I share with you, we can help get you to a point, but I will not, I can't compare you to state or to take hold of the information that you will get. It's incumbent upon you to do. And all we do is try to pull out of you what's already in you, and to get you to focus on what it is and how you can be successful. Certainly, I share with you, you cannot write what you don't know. It's impossible. The other thing is when you begin to change your dialogue and how you speak, then you begin to form your world around you with words of creativity. We use the dictionary to find words or new words or words that you do not use all the time, to increase your knowledge, to build your vocabulary. And so, once again, just as Amara did last year, raise your hand, Mark, because everybody don't know you, but last year Amara did something that was unique. Even after he left, He wrote a poem in Spanish, the whole poem in Spanish. And so that was using a level of creativity. And so we did some things as far as learning some words in Spanish last year. But I didn't tell him to do that, but he went on and did it anyway at another place, and the people were very impressed with that. And so the other part is you don't know who you will impress. And not only that, but being able to incorporate the two languages, English and Spanish. Now you're stretching the imagination of your audience. Then I'll share with you how to even do that. Because you must get them understanding just by you incorporating sometimes two different languages. If the people don't know what the word means, then certainly they won't be able to interpret what you are saying. And so there's a way to do that. How you introduce them to those words. And so there are a lot of different things that you will gather from what we're doing. We do have a couple of field trips planned, one over Mountain, one to Tanner Hill. You will be responsible just for the entry fee to the park. One is on the 23rd of this month, and the other one will take place in July. The poetry contest is in July. We do create somewhat of a book, and so that will help you along the way. We'll fold just some blank paper. As we always do, you will create your own book, and you will add to it. We won't write in it all the time. This year is going to be more of a performance aspect in working on it, because certainly, just like I shared with them, we worked on it, and when we got to go to the radio station, they were well prepared. And so if you have not prepared your mind in understanding to do some things, you can't, I wouldn't put you in front of anybody. And certainly, performing, if you want to once again to participate in the poetry contest, you need to know some things. And so if you're coming before me, I'm certainly going to share with you those things to help get you there. And so some of the things I'm saying now, tomorrow we will meet again, but of course it's Monday through Thursday, and we really won't get started till next Monday. But today, tomorrow, pretty much just meeting each other and sharing just a few things, just getting once again acclimated with understanding. The concept is positive. I want you to dominate the situation. Some of you all already know we start off every day by introducing ourselves, and you build that formal introduction. Then we have kind of like our proclamation about ourselves. We'll share that today, and so you can, who don't know it, can learn it, and it is something that builds confidence. And every day, those are two things we do every day. Our goal is performing and doing some things. Now, Caleb and Amari, currently, there are a lot of things that we do. They did some work last year that is currently being produced that we are going to send along with the ones you see on the table. They're going to go to the White House. They are going to go to Obama. We're currently have a publishing company actually designing or redesigning those placemats along with their two works that are going to the White House. And I'm looking forward to the response. You never know how they may receive that. I have sent some of my personal work before, but it was years ago, to President Clinton. And I did get basically a formal letter back from the White House. And so it's learning how to curate your work, how to bring value to your work. I personally have a piece in the National Voting Rights Museum on permanent display. And just sharing that, they gave a monetary value of $1,000, just one piece entitled Bloody Sunday. And what it does is, when you begin to do things, it adds value to who you are and what you are doing. Make no mistake about it. Sometimes it may not appear that it's moving, but you never know who will see your work or who will be inspired by what you do. You just only know the people you know. You don't have a clue to who else viewing what you do. It happens all the time. I give scenarios, I give instances about always being prepared and ready, and oftentimes some people look at their lives, because I no longer do that, but some people look at their lives and say, well, I did this today, and I don't see it working. But it's kind of like you put a seed in the ground. You put a seed in the ground. Sometimes the farmer or the individual put a seed in the ground, and every day they looking at it. Well, I was trying to wait till you get finished, because what I'm saying is important. Sometimes people put seeds in the ground, and it's just like your work. And when you put a seed in the ground, you may walk by every day and say, man, that seed don't look like it's growing. Don't look like it's moving. And you might go by a week, keep looking at it, till one day you get discouraged, and you just say, man, forget that. I've been watering this seed, I've been doing this, but you only been doing it for a week. And after a while, those hours you keep looking at it, you've gotten tired of looking at it. So you stop. And so you go off to doing whatever you're doing, and one day you pass back by unintentionally, and now you see something sticking up out the ground. Because it took time, and not only that, but it wasn't based on you. It was based on what had to be done in order for that seed to turn into a plant, whether it's food or whatever. You did your part by trying to cultivate the ground and putting the seed in, but it still took time. And there are things that you could not do to make that plant grow. It was just simply based on the sun and nature. And so what I'm telling you about whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's writing, learning how to express yourself through song, poetry, art, you put it out there, you never know what opportunity it can bring. And so that's what I'm sharing. That's what we'll be sharing. Really how to take your artistic form and make it grow to a whole nother level. If you think you can perform, and I was sharing with some people, you might think you good or bad, but you ain't got no clue about them other people over there. Just like I was sharing with my son the other day, basketball. You had Oklahoma and you had Golden State. One team was more hungry than the other. Not only that, but the work they put in. And so there are different levels of achievement and get to the next level. That's if you want to get to the next level. Because there's an illustration, and we might see it again. Keon. Come here, Keon. I always do this illustration. Come here for a second. You know we did this last year, I think. Come here for me.
Xavier.
Huh?
That's Xavier.
Xavier, I'm sorry, Xavier. Lay down, Xavier. Get on the floor for a second. Just get on the floor. Now, if I try to lift him, just give me your hand. Don't try to get up now. Because he got bigger. He wasn't as big last year, I promise you. Were you gained some weight. Now, if I try to lift him without his help, I could hurt him by pulling on him. I could pull his shoulder out of socket. I could begin to lift him, and then he could fall. Then I could hurt my back. There are a multitude of things could happen with me not asking him, do you want to get up? Do you want help? See, that's oftentimes a mistake that happens with people, whether it's youth or adults. We don't ask the question, do you want help? So instead of me dragging him and potentially hurting him, do you want to get up? You ready to get up? Well, let's get up. Now, he helped himself get up, and I helped pull, and it made it much easier for everybody. You can have a seat.
Wow.
See, it's that simple. See, oftentimes people don't want help. And you trying to force and pull and drag them into a world they don't want. That's on ending them. They want help, but they don't want help. And so you must learn how to take what you're hearing and apply it, that you do become better. It's very simplistic. There's an old saying about somebody who was a flood coming. Matter of fact, it's happening right now in Texas. A bad flood. There's a man sitting on top of a car. They did live. Today, I was happened to be watching the news this morning. It was live. The man sitting on his car, the water all the way up, and I literally mean up to the roof. The people came by on a boat to save him. But this particular situation, prior to the flood, and I'm sure they were told a flood was coming. So people say, well, a flood coming, but I don't see that. I don't see anything. Well, the weather report, it flooded, it rained and stormed on the other end of town. And it flooded and the water's coming this way. Well, I don't see it because the sky's clear. So they send the people out and tell you to evacuate. Man, y'all tripping, y'all praying. Because I see no water and the sky's clear. But then all of a sudden, the water began to come in without rain. And so now they send a car to come get you since you wouldn't leave. Now they send a car, whether it's a bus or whether it's a taxi. It's time to leave. Nah, I'm going to stick it out. Then the water gets so high, now they got to send a boat. So they send a boat, and the person says, nah, I don't want to leave because the water ain't so high. So now the water has gotten even higher. Now they got to send a helicopter. They send the helicopter, and they said, nah, I'm going to stick it out. Then they happen to drown. And then they subconscious or whatever, they say, well, I wanted help, but nobody, see, they wanted where they wanted to come. But all along, help was being sent, but they didn't know how to recognize it. And they were in a situation that they had never been in before. And so sometimes we have to understand wherever you're going may be new ground to you. You may want to experience it, but the other part is when help comes, you have to know how to receive it, wherever it comes from. And that's oftentimes what we don't know how to do, and we take for granted those things. But nevertheless, those are some things that I shared. They may come back up. We have a day that's called Opportunity Day from time to time, where we give away money, where we give away other items. And so it's important that you recognize and listen to what's being said, because at any time it can come back up. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, how do you like when you perform? How do you build up the confidence to get up and speak?
Well, we start out by articulating, and we deal with the public speaking aspect every day.
Okay.
Because in that, most of the time they're not used to speaking every day.
Okay.
And when you begin to formulate that in your mind and with consistency, now you have no problem getting up and you can speak.
Wow.
By saying your name, where you attend school. We'll enunciate every day.
Wow.
And then we will get to a point where we will then begin to deal with poems and the reality of it.
Okay.
That takes a second. Amari, the only two that did it last year was Amari and Caleb. And initially, Caleb, there was a poem that he had written, and it was about baseball and his friends.
Wow.
But the fact of the matter is, although it was a brief poem, by the time we got the radio, they were saying it so well that it was believable.
Wow.
And so the people who heard it on the radio, they could feel it. And so it wasn't as though they was in front of them reading. They were on the radio reading.
Wow.
And it's just like some songs you hear. You can hear some songs and they don't touch you.
Right.
But they sound good.
Right.
But there are some people, like Whitney Houston, whatever she sung,
I know you believe that.
it was believable. And so there are people that, when you get to a certain level, that's what we were able to get them to do. They read, and it was over and over and over. Each day the day came, during the fall, not during the summer. And we got to a point where they understood what they were reading was, they took possession of it.
Oh, wow.
And made it come to life. And so when they got to radio, and the testimony of that is that the audience, when the people called in, their testimony was, one person even said, I was listening to him talk about going around the base and getting a quesadilla and a pizza. It made me home. And so Amaris was dealing with seasonings.
Wow.
And so, regardless, it affected the people who heard it over the radio.
Wow. That sounds...
They got to a level that it was believable.
Right. That sounds like, basically, like whatever product you have, first you have to believe it. So if you believe it, that portrays and protrudes out of you, and other people believe it. So you first got to believe in you. Exactly. And then you portray it, you radiate it out. People used to say your aura, or how you have this certain something about you. So if you believe it, at first you got to believe it, and then that right there in turn follows you.
Exactly. And matter of fact, I used a demonstration. Matter of fact, with your son about the telephone.
Right.
I said the awesome part about cell phones is that there's nothing attached to it.
Right.
And there are billions of people in the world. But we believe that if somebody is trying to get in touch with us, out of all of the billions of people in the world, that those 10 digits only operate our phone. That it operates nobody else's phone nowhere in the world.
Right.
And out of all of the numbers has to be duplicated some kind of way. If you're dealing with billions of phones, somewhere that number has to be duplicated, but you believe so much
that it's going to come
nothing
out.
attached to your phone.
Wow.
But you really believe that anybody associated with you, when that number is dialed, wherever they are in the universe, will only dial your phone. That's believing. That's confidence. And it's done without thinking. Somebody just told you that. somebody just asked you, well, you want 10 digits, you want a phone, this your number. And out of all the billions of people in the world, I don't care what goes down, you just believe in it. And so that's awesome. And so that's my goal, is to get us understanding what you have is so unique that it will perform what it needs to perform. But we're not taught that on an everyday level.
No, we're not.
But they got a chance to experience it. And certainly, I'm sure it changed some people. And as a matter of fact, they don't know, because I haven't even spoken to them, but I was at a function and met their grandfather.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even know who he was. He and I happened to be sitting at the same table. And we began to discuss what we do.
Wow.
And he said, my grandchildren have been a part of your program. They were on the radio. I never knew they could do that.
Wow.
Or sound or perform as they did. And so, because of lack of exposure and opportunity, we don't know what we can do.
That's true.
We often think things are for other people. But right here, anyway, we're making a difference and providing the evidential proof that they can be successful.
About just teaching the kids the fundamentals of baseball, what
Oh,
to
yes.
do and what not to do.
Yes.
Yeah, come around. This is like a conversation,
Let me get.
so
Can you grab me that?
and let's try to make it kind of like
Yes, please.
like this, guys. So we want some
Banana.
people on this side.
Thank you.
Banana.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Don't be afraid to ask a question here.
Yes, don't be.
The man said, no question is too stupid to ask. You can get an answer.
Okay. Well, I just saw the year right there, 1948. Wow.
So if you don't, you can have a seat. We're going to go ahead and get
Okay,
started.
okay.
But feel free. We have our friend Flor
Okay.
from Bright House who's here.
Oh, wow, okay.
videotaping today.
Okay.
So, guys, this is a great honor. We're going to just turn it over to the library.
Well, my name is Colonel Paul, and I was born in New Orleans. I grew up in Louisiana and here in Alabama. My big claim to fame is I started my own business, and I have my own line of Cajun seasoning, which I very modestly named after myself, Colonel Paul's Cajun Seasoning, which, big sales pitch for you. It's the only Cajun seasoning made in Louisiana to come in mild, medium, or hot and spicy. So you can have Cajun flavor, but at whatever heat level that you think you would like to have. Now, when I started this, I didn't know anything about business, but that didn't matter. I figured out a way. I got a recipe together, I came up with my spices, I put all that together, and then I went out and began to market it. And the big thing that you can learn in this class, and what Mr. Woods is going to teach you, is to believe in yourself and believe there's nothing that you can't do. Absolutely nothing that you cannot do. You figure out a way. And if you can't figure out a way, then you find somebody to help you figure out a way. And Mr. Woods is going to teach you that. This is a tremendous class. Words are powerful. They're extremely powerful. And the more that you learn how to express yourself clearly and succinctly and with the power of words, the more you're going to be able to grow and advance, both as a person and in the job market. And that's what this is all about. This class is about you. Like I said, if I didn't believe in you or in this project, I wouldn't be in here. But there's nothing that you can't do. And Mr. Woods is just an incredible teacher. He has impressed me so much, and y'all have impressed me. I was here last year with some of the kids here, and I was really, really impressed with what he has been able to teach y'all. This is powerful. Listen to what he has to say. Do what he says that you need to do, and look into it. And you'll find that poetry is really cool. It's a way that you can express yourself and learn and show other people what you know about how great you are. You are number one. You say that to yourself every day, and you'll become that way, you know? Now, does somebody have a question about something? Anything. Don't be shy. This ain't a class all about words. Poetry, well, I'll give you my impression, and we'll let Mr. Woods tell you what he thinks. Poetry is about words because words are powerful. But poetry is also about feelings. It's about emotion. It's what you feel in your heart that you want to express, and you express that through the power of words. So the more that you learn about words and what words that you can use, the better you can express yourself and express your feelings and get your emotion out there. What do you think, Mr. Wood?
I often say poetry can be defined in many aspects. One is I've used is that you can stand in one spot and scream, and someone say, "Well, what are you doing?" I'm expressing myself poetically. If you go online, you can actually see where people can be running, and they will say that's poetry in motion. Basketball, you will hear announcers say if that guy gets into a rhythm, or if he do a crossover and causes somebody to miss him, they will say that's poetry in motion. So poetry can be defined as actions and words. And words and action.
Just like what he said with the jingle.
Right.
That's right.
People have had food they taste. Ooh, that's, man, the flavors are so poetically put together, it's just tingling. You know, it tingles in my mouth. And so it's expression, it's feeling, it's coming to life. And, oftentimes poetry makes a difference. Because why else would they say it's poetry in motion, or it's poetry because evidently it has changed something. The words or the actions have changed something that makes you either feel it or see that there's a change.
Have anybody ever seen a commercial on TV? And never heard a jingle? What's your favorite jingle? Oh yeah, look.
Go ahead, yeah.
He said ba-da-ba-ba, and look, and he got the McDonald's on the table. That's a McDonald's jingle.
Right. Because
Better with Coke.
well, he got he got a jingle on his shirt. Just do it.
Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
And so what form of poetic or poetry would Just Do It be?
Inspiration.
Inspiration. Inspirational poetry.
Just do it.
Right.
That's been one of the most powerful jingles ever. That's what he was saying. Just do it.
Do it.
Because
You find a way to do it. You find a way to make it
Figure
happen.
it out.
You just do it.
He described multiple forms of poetry through means of what inspired him to do what he did.
Right. And the same with me. The same with them, whether they want to play football, basketball, whether they want to become better as authors, writers, is that you just do it. As Colonel Paul just got through saying, you find a way to make it happen.
That's right.
You must be consistent. One of the things that I share with kids is we can look at this floor, and on this floor, each panel had to be continually duplicated until it was finished.
Right.
The shirt we have on, each thread is not one thread, but it's many threads that went on to create. And so it's a pattern. And so we have to learn to find the way to get our young people and adults to understand things that are good. Sometimes you have, as we said earlier, you have to keep going, pressing, keep duplicating it over and over and over again.
Well, let me ask y'all a question. Basically, what you're describing and what Colonel Paul had to have, and what you're having is you have to have patience. So then what happens when young folks have so much energy that sometimes they don't have patience?
We must be able to give them true understanding. Just as I shared with them yesterday about taking a seed, putting it in the ground. They may have broken the ground up and put the seed in it,
Right.
And so you begin to sit there and you watch that seed.
Right.
You know it's in the ground,
Right.
but it's not moving fast enough.
Right.
You put the seed in, but on a Monday and Wednesday it still haven't popped up.
Right.
And so you keep looking and looking. And so one day you get tired of looking. And you go off to do other things. You've been watering it and doing all you can do, but you never see the seed explode. So under the dirt, the seed could have exploded. So we must share with them when they have given up or think that it's not working. Then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they come back and bam, out the ground. Now they're excited.
Have y'all ever done anything that you gave up on? Anybody? That you tried something that didn't work?
Anybody? I'm sure you've done something.
Jump off the bar and try to fly.
Jump off a car.
It didn't work. Maybe that wasn't
You
a
ever do
smart thing to
anything
do.
try to make it work? You ever do anything tried it and it didn't work?
I gave up on volleyball, but I started back
Okay. What made you start back?
because I play at home with my cousin, and the coaches was looking at me.
And you knew you could just do it, like Nike said. So what kind of form of expression would that be when you go through situations where you try to do something and then you feel is it that you just lose an interest for it, or then you just don't give up, you keep trying like he went to you ever go through Colonel Paul, you ever go through any situations where you had some letdowns and people told you?
Sure, but you don't let that get to you. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to be depressed because it didn't turn out the way that you wanted to, or you weren't able to figure out how to make it. But you don't let that get to you. What you do is the opposite. You get determined. No, I'm going to make this work. If it's not going to work this way, I'll figure out a way to make it work another way. And you don't let that happen. And the way that you're able to do that is by believing in yourself. If you believe in yourself, if it doesn't work this way, I'll figure out another way to make it work so I can reach my goal. It's just like they said during the Civil Rights Movement. You keep your eye on the prize. You keep your eye on the prize, and that's what you're going to win eventually. And you figure out a way to make that happen. Dr. King taught that, and that was
Exactly.
He was absolutely right. Keep your eye on the prize, and you figure out a way to make that happen. So when and life's going to throw you some little knocks here and there. It's not always going to work the way that you want to, but you don't get depressed about it. You don't let it get to you, and you just keep going. Keep your eye on the prize. Make it happen.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And I think that's what has, I want you to take a picture. I want you to look at this.
Us three, we're old enough to remember the Civil Rights Movement.
Exactly.
Dude, I was these kids' age when it was going on.
Right.
And I saw that all around me, and that was a positive, good thing that happened in the South.
Right.
It really did. Not just for black people, but for white people too. For everybody in the South, we really advanced and became better because of that. And
Exactly.
God bless Dr. King for it. He really did, because he did it peacefully, and he did it. The guy's like Gandhi. I mean,
Yeah.
he really is.
Correct.
It was just amazing what's happened. And what he has been able to do is give y'all an opportunity that you didn't have when I was a kid. And the lessons that you learn now and the things that he is going to teach you are going to help you later in life. You learn how to believe in yourself. You learn how to express yourself. There's nothing you can't do. You can advance. You can get that good job that's going to get you some good money. You can learn to express yourself and write poetry if that's what you want to do, and really impress people. The lessons you learn now are going to help you later in life. And so your job at this point, my job is my job. I have to go out and sell spies. Your job right now is to go to school and learn just as much as you can. Just absorb everything that anybody wants to teach you. Because the more that you learn, the more skills you're going to have when you get out and start looking for a job. And that's what this is all about. This class is not just about poetry. This class is about life. It's about how to teach you how you can believe in yourself and how you can become a better person. Because again, like I said, there's nothing that you can't do. There's absolutely nothing that you can't do. You want to do it, you can make it happen. And that's what this is all about. It's
Exactly.
all
It's
about
good. It is good that you're very positive and give that positive message. And just yesterday, some of the students met the Black Barons yesterday.
Right.
What you talking about how, in the sports, baseball and stuff, how things were segregated and certain things that was going on.
Right.
So we're going to kind of present some of that footage along with this program, along with even some of the things you're saying too, because to even show just that fact that those guys talked about the things they went through back in the days, and now, like you said, a lot of the things have changed. I mean, you can go play baseball. Everybody can play baseball together professionally nowadays, but back in the days, it wasn't that simple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I was about to tie that in about them being on their phones is because when 9/11 hit, social media was just exploding in the forefront like it was, and so people consciousness was tested because some people thought it was a movie. I'm sitting and listening, and some people say, "Well, I didn't know they were shooting a movie."
Right.
And so today, just as they are focused on Facebook or whatever it is that they're engaged in, the reality of what words and the things they truly need to know for themselves to propel them into their future, some of them have not grasped that. And so they found an outlet, if it's not through athletics or through other items, they find their outlet through social media, being on Facebook and just scanning. And so that's individuality. So when you look at it, each one is on their phone, but they're not the sound or writing, they're not connecting to other individuals.
You're talking about physically.
Physically.
Yeah. Right.
And so when you lose the physical aspect of sound, then if someone speaks to you at a certain tone, you really don't know how to take it because you have isolated yourself from sound.
Well, let's do a little example of that, like a little physical exercise.
I did do that earlier, so you missed it. So, and I actually did. And so what I did was, I said, I could walk up simply and say, "Hello. How you doing?" Okay. "Hello. Hello." This means at that tone, I'm trying to get his attention.
Yeah.
"Hello." Basically, the sound is I'm speaking to you with sarcasm. And so with the vibration and the sound dictates the emotional response from the other person.
Right.
The vibration of the sound, the intent from the person who's speaking. And so with isolation, and you're not used to listening or hearing sound, you then don't know how to receive it because you don't even know how someone is approaching you.
So what kind of vibration would profanity be?
Profanity is unbecoming words where you can actually find other words to express yourself. Those are words that are used as unbecoming terminology that's not socially acceptable, when there are other words can use the same description.
Could those be words of authority? Exclamation.
Not profanity. Profanity would be using words that are unbecoming, using words that inflame situations, when you could find other words to express yourself with the same meaning.
So what type of vibration would that bring?
Understanding. You could get someone to understand and interpret what you are saying without offending them or inflaming the situation. And even with the tone. And so that's learning how to get your point. Oh, what happens is
But the reason why I asked
showing
that-
them, hold on, what I'm about to tell you, what it is, calmness, you can see your way much clearer through calmness than you can with chaos. And so if you find words to describe or to get your point across without inflaming or causing chaos, then the other person can probably hear you. But because of what society has shared, the inflammatory words and chaos, with chaos there's no understanding on neither the person who is speaking nor the recipient who's trying to hear what's being said, because they're focused on chaos.
The reason why I asked that question is because a lot of the music that a lot of our youth listen to today has some poetic expressions of vibration that has profanity and things in it like that, and the vibration that that music itself gives off can play a role on their psyche.
That's why, that's what they're doing. And so it's incumbent upon us to show them something different.
You got a question?
You
See,
can express
Go
yourself
ahead.
better without cussing.
exactly.
You can. There are much better ways to express yourself without cussing. You find another word to use.
Exactly.
Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all look at me here. Just one sec. Raise your hand if you know what a thesaurus is. Raise your hand. Does anybody know what a thesaurus is? All right, what's a thesaurus?
A thesaurus is, when I think of a thesaurus, I think of it similar to like a dictionary with words in it.
That's right. It's good. You know, this is probably for a poet. This is the most valuable tool that you will ever have. The library's got one. You can buy them at bookstores. A thesaurus is like a dictionary. But what it does is you look up a word, say, take the word good. You're writing a poem and you have a line where you say, I bit into that apple and it was good. You know, you say, well, what's another word I could use instead of good? What's a better way I could use to describe this? You get your thesaurus, flip through it, you find the word good, and it gives you other words that mean the same thing. It's what they call a synonym. So you look up good, and what else do you find? You find incredible, wonderful, fascinating, amazing, awesome. And these are words that mean something similar to good that you can use to describe a better, describe what you're talking about a little bit better. And this is an invaluable tool for a poet, for any writer. I use them. I got one that's all worn out. I use it so much whenever I do my writing, because you can find other ways that you can describe it. And in doing that, you learn about words, and you learn about the power of words. So you can say, I bit into the apple and it was good. Or you can say, I bit into the apple and it was awesome. You see how much more powerful that is? And a thesaurus is a definite tool that will help you to write what you're going to be writing in a way that you can learn to express yourself. Every library has one. Bookstores have them. You can buy them for like $4.95. You can get one that fit in your pocket even. But that's a tool that I would strongly recommend that you look into, because that will really help you learn about words and the power of words. And if you know powerful words, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing that you cannot do. You really can't, because you're able to express yourself in a very smart way and really impress people.
Okay, what was your question again?
Okay, I have a statement.
A statement? Okay.
I agree with him that using profanity, you can use another word, but just because our music filled with profanity, even if we did have profanity in our music, our parents and family members will still be using profanity, so we're gonna learn it either way.
Yeah, but that's true. But at the same token, is that you learn a better way. You learn a better way to express yourself. And so not saying that does not exist in society. But the issue is not does that exist, but what can we do to alter that? Just as there are hot peppers, there are banana peppers. And so some people will continue to eat hot peppers, and some people will eat the sweet peppers or banana peppers. And so, although we know that exists, it has always existed, but what can we do as an individual to make a change? And so that's what we're showing, is that, matter of fact, if you look at that table mat in front of you, some people paint with oil paint, but that's crayon. And so what we're sharing with you and you all is that there are other words that can be configured, and that's what you're learning in school. You're learning how to take words, put them in the correct sequence to move whatever you want to move. The correct sequence of words will move whatever you want moved. If you cannot put those words in the correct sequence, you can't move anything. The more limited.
So you're saying words can be almost like money?
He said money is powerful. I mean, words are powerful.
That's right.
Money is a word. Money is a tool. But words, the correct sequence of words, matter of fact, hand me that phone. Hand me your phone. See, I just moved something. Just that simple. He was about to hand it to you. The correct sequence of words on what you want done, moving. If you learn the correct sequence of words, as Colonel Paul said, I do believe, you put the correct sequence of words in order, you can move whatever you want to move. But if you don't know how to do it, and I'm talking about when you go to fill out an application, when you go to McDonald's, and you say, I want a Big Mac, but really you want a quarter pounder, you're going to get what you say. And if you don't know how to put them in the correct sequence, you are not going to move anything.
So what if you go to McDonald's and you want a Whopper with cheese?
Can't get it. Wrong place, wrong time. But it's for real. That's really real. If you go into the department store and you want a certain pair of shoes, you can't get it. Numbers is the same effect. Hold up your phone. If you don't do it, but if you dial trying to get home and you dial your uncle's number, you're not going to dial home by it. The correct sequence of numbers. And so what you're learning is how to put the correct sequence of words and numbers into effect to move things. And the more limited you are with words and numbers in your life, the more limited you're going to be in moving things.
Let me just say one thing, too, about profanity. Anybody can use profanity. Anybody can cuss. You don't got to be smart to do that. And you'll find that those people that use profanity a lot, like every other word that they speak comes out like that, they're not that smart because they don't know words and they don't know how to express themselves without that. There's a better way. There is. You can learn better words to use and it'll make you look smart. It actually will make you smarter, and people will see that. You can express yourself so much better without that, and people will respect you more because you do. And that's just something that you need to look at and examine. Anybody can do it, but that doesn't mean that you're smart. And people that are really smart don't use that much profanity because they know a smarter way that they can say the same thing and get their meaning across. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot. Okay, but I feel like if people use profanity, they should use it like if it's important to use it or not. But people that use profanity, I think that's disrespectful, and they make you look at them and think what they are, like how they describe themselves. You should respect yourself, and if you respect yourself, then you won't have to use profanity
Right.
That's
Amen
it.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're absolutely
I
right.
turned grade a senior. I just go back to public school called August 8th. I did respectful people. Other than my dad, I was respectful, acting right. I didn't say.
No, he's saying something. No, he's saying you're being respectful. And it's
Respect for
part of the time
people.
you're being respectful.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
respectful. The other time, the voice is that I lost the voice last year.
Okay.
Good luck.
All right.
Okay.
Just very, very smart. You really are, and you're going to learn so much. And I'm really excited to be part of this program. I really am, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you again.
All
Come
right.
back. I come
Y'all
back
give
around.
him a round of applause.
Oh no!
Thanks a lot.
Applaud yourself. Applaud yourself. You're doing something great. You really are. You know, this is just tremendous.
Exactly. Well, we
So-
thank you, Colonel Paul,
Sure.
for coming out.
Yeah, thank
and,
you. And I'll come back and see y'all again.
Thanks a lot. That was
really
real
nice.
good.
It's really
We got
nice to
plenty
meet
of
you
good footage
too.
and everything.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you. This
Okay.
is going to be great. Y'all got on TV, man.
All right, thanks.
God, it's incredible.
right,
Y'all
thank
take
you.
care now. All right.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all later.
All right.
Okay.